So somehow Devilman Crybaby became obscenely popular, and I find that wildly fascinating. The original manga by Go Nagai is an immaculately drawn treatise on nihilism, violence, sex, and the darker side of mankind. But don't go mistaking this for some kind of pretentious highbrow snobbery. This story's fucking weird. And insane. And awesome. You see, back in the day there was this old Devilman OVA that was made, and it had some absolutely stunning animation. And as you probably know if you've been on the internet recently, a, godlike English dub.
You mean he tried to kill you? Incredible! And then, he died.
But due to the story not having been concluded, it never really caught on to the mainstream. But, no doubt, if you've been watching anime, there's absolutely no escaping that you've seen some Devilman-inspired shit, most notably works like Berserk and Parasite. So then this year, Netflix decided to create a Netflix-exclusive adaptation of the story directed by Masaaki Yuasa, the guy who made Kaiba and the Tatami Galaxy and Ping Pong. You know, those shows that you always hear critics talk about, that you haven't actually watched. For those of you who are really unfamiliar with his work, he's been known for his abstract and bizarre visuals and high-concept ideas, so mixing him with Devilman is actually kind of a match made in heaven. The reason I think this whole affair is interesting is that I cannot, for the life of me, properly explain the appeal of Devilman Crybaby. Obviously this show is gorgeous and kind of a spectacle to look at. Yuasa knows how to make shit look nice, how to compose shots well, how to draw and distort shapes and characters to make everything feel super visceral and crazy. But the show has appeal beyond that, like the fucking music with which it makes me want to fight. Let's go! So stylistically, Yuasa makes sure you know this is his take on the material. It's still a solid adaptation, meaning it's filled to the brim with violence, gore, sex, nudity, and all the naughty things you can possibly conjure up in your dark, twisted little mind. The entire reason I checked out the show was because of the YouTuber Digibro who made a video on it, go watch that by the way, saying it would likely be his favorite anime of the year because he enjoyed it so much. And I took his advice and watched it, despite being unfamiliar with anything Devilman related. So halfway through the show I wanted to explain why the show had grabbed me so much to a friend, and as hard as I tried at the time I couldn't think of anything. See, Devilman Crybaby manages to combine so many different elements and tones due to its loyalty to the source material that some events become slightly condensed, but you also manage to not skip anything outright and even abridged some arcs to be more, emotionally relevant and poignant, like the episode with Akira's parents. This leads to a consistently entertaining and high-octane watch. None of the episodes drag, but since Devilman has a lot of social commentary and deep themes hidden in its veneer of sheer tastelessness, you almost feel like the trashier elements and the classier elements are at odds with one another. The whole time I was trying to figure out how to explain why this seemingly dissonant combo worked for Crybaby but not for other works of fiction. And then after finishing the anime, I think I found my answer. You ever have that anime or TV show that came on the Sci-Fi Channel when you were a kid at 1 a.m.? The show that maybe you saw glimpses of before finally falling asleep, but once you stayed awake to watch it and you were in awe of what you saw, it had gore, sex, drugs, or violence, everything you know you aren't supposed to be seeing, but you glimpse into it anyway. It becomes like this precious thing that you've discovered. Granted, you probably don't know what it is or where it came from, but it just moves so fast, you can't tear your eyes away. Devilman Crybaby is that show, that anime, that feeling that you aren't supposed to be seeing what you are seeing, purely because it's so fucked up. But now that most people who watch this show are going to be teenagers and adults, these themes of compassion, violence, belief, nihilism, all that fun shit, they're woven in because it knows its audience. Even if the blending of the crazy hyper-violent social satire and genuine heartfelt emotion doesn't always mix. It may not always work, or work cohesively. In fact, at times it's downright hilarious how the show plays with its tone, and I'm not really certain that it was always intentional. But it didn't exactly detract from my enjoyment. In fact, it often added to it. But that's kind of the risk you run when you make a show like Crybaby. The simple fact is, no other show can give you exactly this brand of batshit, which, in my opinion, is just cause for everybody to love this show as much as they do. In short, Devilman Crybaby is not afraid to throw convention out the door, not always to its advantage, but I admire how brazenly it does it and just does not give a fuck while doing it. It is the absolute pinnacle of having your cake and eating it too, getting to enjoy this primal and stylized, drug-fueled haze of epic proportions, but also being about love, understanding, and compassion, and about how humankind is mostly shit. 8 out of 10. This show's fucking rad.